the United States Navy operates the most powerful fleet on Earth: 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, dozens of attack submarines, nearly 300 battle-ready ships in service right now. And almost all of it gets built by 2 companies. Not 10 companies. Not 20. Only 2. One of them is the only organization on the planet that can build and refuel a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. The other has been designing submarines since 1899, and today is the prime contractor on the Navy's single highest priority defense program. So how did 2 companies end up holding this much responsibility for America's national security? And what does it actually take to build one of these ships? To understand why only a handful of companies can do this work, you have to understand what building a modern warship actually requires. A Virginia-class attack submarine is 377 feet long, travels at over 25 knots while completely submerged, and can stay underwater for up to 3 months. It carries torpedoes, cruise missiles, and classified surveillance equipment, and it runs on a nuclear reactor that has to last the life of the ship. Building something like that requires decades of nuclear engineering expertise, billions of dollars in specialized facilities, government security clearances throughout the entire workforce, and the kind of institutional knowledge you simply cannot buy or fast-track. During World War II, the United States had dozens of major shipyards operating simultaneously. Today, for the most complex naval vessels, the carriers and submarines, there are effectively 2 shipyards in the country capable of doing the job. One in Virginia, one in Connecticut and Maine. But the reason we're talking about those 2 specific locations comes down to the companies that built them up over a century. And the first one has a history that goes all the way back to a railroad tycoon with a vision. On January 28, 1886, a businessman named Collis P. Huntington broke ground on a small ship repair facility in Newport News, Virginia. Huntington had already helped finance the Transcontinental Railroad across the United States. Now he wanted a yard to service the ships moving through Hampton Roads. The first vessel the yard delivered was a tugboat called Dorothy, named after the daughter of the Secretary of the Navy. That same yard, 140 years later, is now the only facility in the world capable of building and refueling nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. Newport News Shipbuilding is today a division of HII, Huntington Ingalls Industries, which became an independent public company in 2011 after being spun off from Northrop Grumman. The company's name comes from 2 founders, Collis Huntington, who built Newport News, and Robert Ingersoll Ingalls Sr., who founded the company's second major shipyard in Pascagoula, Mississippi in 1938. Today, HII employs 44,000 people and reported $12.5 billion in revenue for full year 2025, reflecting over 8% growth from the year before. Newport News alone employs 26,000 shipbuilders across 550 acres on the James River, making it the largest industrial employer in the state of Virginia. And the scale of what they build is hard to wrap your head around. Newport News is the sole designer, builder, and refueler of every nuclear-powered aircraft carrier in the United States Navy. Not one of the builders, the only one. The Gerald R. Ford, the John F. Kennedy, the Enterprise currently under construction. All of them come out of the same yard in Virginia. On top of that, Newport News is one of only 2 shipyards in the country capable of building nuclear-powered submarines. They've delivered more than 800 ships since 1886, carriers, submarines, destroyers, commercial vessels, and they're currently sitting on a shipbuilding contract backlog of over $45 billion. Meanwhile, down in Mississippi, their Ingalls Shipbuilding Division employs another 11,000 people and has been the largest supplier of U.S. Navy surface combatants for decades. Ingalls is simultaneously building 4 classes of ships right now, including Arleigh Burke guided missile destroyers and the America-class amphibious assault ships used to deploy Marines. The company has been at this for over a century, but the other company in this story started with submarines, and its history is even older. In 1899, a financier named Isaac Rice acquired a small submarine development company in New Jersey and renamed it the Electric Boat Company. Its roots were in a craft built by Irish engineer John Philip Holland, a 54-foot submarine that became the first practical submersible purchased by the U.S. Navy. That scrappy little company is the direct ancestor of General Dynamics, one of the largest defense contractors on Earth. Today, General Dynamics' electric boat division in Groton, Connecticut, is the prime contractor on every nuclear-powered submarine program in the United States Navy: Virginia-class attack submarines, Columbia-class ballistic missile submarines, which are currently the single highest priority shipbuilding program in the entire Department of Defense. Electric Boat employs around 23,000 people and has been building submarines continuously since 1899. In 1954, Electric Boat launched USS Nautilus, the world's first nuclear-powered submarine. That single achievement positioned the company as the irreplaceable center of American undersea warfare capability for the next 7 decades. But General Dynamics' shipbuilding role doesn't stop at submarines. In 1995, the company acquired Bath Iron Works in Bath, Maine for $300 million. Bath Iron Works had been building ships since 1884, and today it's the Navy's primary builder of Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, the backbone of U.S. surface fleet firepower. General Dynamics as a whole reported $52.6 billion in revenue in 2025, up 10% from the prior year, across all its divisions, including combat vehicles, aerospace, and technology services. The company ended the year with a backlog of $118 billion total, reflecting demand that spans well beyond shipbuilding alone. But while both companies are clearly massive, the question a lot of people have is a simple one. How long does it actually take to build these ships? The answer depends heavily on what you're building. An Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, the kind Bath Iron Works turns out regularly, takes roughly 5 to 6 years from contract award to commissioning. About 18 months to 2 years of that is active hull construction. A Virginia-class attack submarine is more complex. Current construction spans are running around 70 months on average, just under 6 years from keel laying to delivery, and that number has been trending upward. Aircraft carriers are in a different category entirely. The USS Gerald R. Ford, the Navy's first new carrier class in decades, took 12 years from start to commissioning. It incorporated a new electromagnetic catapult system and new arresting gear that had to be invented from scratch, technology that didn't exist in civilian industry to borrow from. The Columbia-class ballistic missile submarine, Electric Boat's current top priority program, is on a build span approaching 100 months for the first boat. These are the submarines that form one leg of America's nuclear deterrent triad. Getting them right and getting them on time is considered a national security imperative. And that's the thing that makes these two companies so hard to replace. The knowledge required to build vessels this complex, the certified nuclear workforce, the dry docks and cranes and specialized tooling, it took over a century to build all of that. You can't duplicate it quickly. HII and General Dynamics aren't just defense contractors, they're the infrastructure behind the world's most powerful navy. 2 companies, 2 shipyards on opposite coasts, and a combined workforce of tens of thousands of people who have spent generations building some of the most complex machines ever made.